What's up, guys? Welcome back to the UFC arena. UFC 258 is over, it's in the books, and let's just get straight to it. Kamaru Usman versus Gilbert Burns. I thought Usman would win this fight, but I didn't think that he would just outstrike Burns the way that he did. I mean, when the fight just started, you saw the speed of Burns and you saw that Burns had the power, and he definitely has the ability. Even in that loss, you saw that he has the ability to beat Usman. However, Usman had that championship mentality. Usman showed that championship heart, and he showed good fight IQ. Even when he was rocked at the start of the fight, I mean, that's one of the worst ways for you to start the fight, right? You come outside, boom, you get a hard punch, and then all of a sudden it's like, ooh, this is how this fight gonna go. You had to try and catch yourself, but Usman did a good job of that, and it was smart of him to keep Burns on the ground as long as he did, because that gave him time to clear the cobwebs and continue with the fight. Burns had some nice smooth striking. His striking looked really good in that first round, and as Burns himself said, he got excited. When he heard Usman, he rushed in and he started using a lot of energy trying to finish Usman. And I guess that adrenaline dump really had an effect on him. He seemed a little winded after the first round. And I'm sure if the fight went on longer, he would have gotten a second win and stuff. But he seemed more tired after the first round than we usually see him. And I think that was due to the fact that he got so excited and he rushed in trying to finish Usman. Usman, on the other hand, that jab was nice, that jab was sharp, it was quick, and it seemed to kind of come out of nowhere. He showed it a bit in his Colby fight, but going with Trevor Whitman has definitely improved his striking and definitely improved the sharpness of that jab. And you even heard Trevor Whitman is definitely one of the best in terms of coaching and striking, and you heard him in the corner telling Usman, you're a champion because of your jab, you're a champion because of your jab, stick to your jab, pop your jab, stay sharp. And that was excellent advice. That's exactly what he needed to do, and he did. You really see the power that Usman has start to come through when he starts dropping Burns with jab one after the next. Now we know Burns has been knocked out before. He was knocked out by Dan Hooker, and I guess some people would question his chin, but those shots that Usman was hitting him with were clean shots, and I think that it would hurt a lot of people. It might not drop everyone the way it dropped Burns, but it would hurt a lot of people. Just overall, it was surprising that Usman outstruck Burns. We saw that when Burns was on the ground, Usman wanted nothing to do with it. We saw that when Usman tried to put Burns up on the cage, Burns seemed ready for it. He spun Usman around and he was able to create that separation. So while we see that Burns had a certain amount of success on the feet, that is not to be confused with other opponents that Usman would have. Masvidal would not be able to have the same amount of success, neither would Stephen Wonderboy Thompson and these other fighters, because Usman will take them down and he will hold them down. So that wasn't available in this fight. That's just a testament to how good Gilbert is. And it's really telling of how things would have gone in the training room, because we could see that in training Gilbert Burns has definitely submitted Usman before, or at the very least he gave Usman a lot of trouble, and Usman was not able to control Burns on the ground, so he did not want to go there. And Usman said after the fight that the sparring would go a lot like how the first round went. You'd counter hard on Usman's strikes, and all of that takes a lot of mental fortitude to overcome in the cage when you know that this person has certain advantages over you, and you go in there knowing that this person is capable of hurting you and capable of beating you in certain areas, and you still overcome that even after such a first round. That is impressive, that is commendable, and nothing but props to Usman for that fight. That fight was by no means a boring fight. And yeah, just respect. He passes GSP for the longest win streak in the welterweight division, and slowly but surely Usman is just building his name, and you have to respect it. Nothing bad to say, nothing but respect. Gilbert Burns, he needs to go back, regroup, and come back stronger, because there was some encouraging things in that fight for him. And who knows, they may fight again in the future, and I think that it will be different. I would say if Usman and Burns fight 10 times, Usman might win 6 times and Burns would win 4 times. They could beat each other. So in the co-main event, we had Alexa Grasso versus Macy Barber. I picked Macy to win this one, but I knew that Grasso was a pretty tough opponent, and it showed in the fight. Grasso has some high-level boxing that was really giving Macy trouble as she was trying to enter. She was getting countered a lot, and she was getting hurt with some solid strikes. However, Macy is a fighter, and she was game, and she kept coming forward. And in that last round, when her coaches told her that, you need to win this round because you're down, you have to win, you have to go, she went. And that is something that is so commendable, because so often you see fighters, they're down, they're losing, and they just continue doing the same old. They don't move forward, they don't press the action, they just kind of do what they're doing in the hopes of landing that one big punch. Or a good example of that is like Tyron Woodley. Like, he's losing the fight clearly, and he's still in round 5. He refuses to go forward. He would just stand up looking for that perfect counter shot to land that perfect big right hand. Like, no, that is annoying me. I was so happy that she went after Grasso, and she definitely won that round, and she had a lot of shining moments in that round, and you could see that Grasso was beginning to become overwhelmed. And I kind of wonder how that fight would have gone had there been another round, or had Macy gotten comfortable earlier in the fight. Now, Macy is good, yes, but there definitely were some things in this fight that I did not understand. First of all, why are you fainting from 10 feet away? Like, that doesn't make any sense. A feint cannot be effective from so far away. If I know that you are not in distance to strike me, you are not in distance to cause me any harm at all, or you're so far away that I could see anything you throw and I have 2 days to move out of the way, that's not gonna work. So why was she standing so far away? She's throwing jabs, she's fainting takedowns, and Grasso is literally just standing up watching her, because she's like, what you gonna do from all the way over there? So I'm there like, what are you doing, Macy? Like, what is this? So in that regard, she definitely looked amateurish, and that's something that she could work on. So she's super young, she has a bright future ahead of her. It was a good fight by Grasso, but Macy was starting to come back, so it was beneficial for Grasso that the fight ended when it did. Grasso also showed some improvements in her ground game. She was able to transition. She tried an armbar and all these different things on the ground, so that was promising to see. I love when fighters don't just stick to one thing and they try to improve their game all around, so props to Grasso. I'll be looking out for her in the future. Unfortunately, this is Valentina Shevchenko's division, so there's nothing else to be said about that. These women all lose to Shevchenko. Next up, we had Kelvin Gastelum defeating Ian Heinisch by unanimous decision. This was surprising. Kelvin out-wrestled Ian Heinisch, and it's not surprising that Kelvin can out-wrestle someone, but it's just that in his last few fights, he has not been relying on his wrestling. So the fact that he had such a wrestle-heavy approach this time around was quite surprising, and the success that he had over Ian Heinisch, who is also a strong wrestler, that's also surprising. Ian had no answers for him, and you can tell that Ian thought that he was going to be the guy dominating in the wrestling. He thought he was going to be the guy putting that pressure on Gastelum, and he's not wrong. Historically, we have seen Gastelum struggle with these types of fighters, but not today. My boy could wrestle, and Ian Heinisch did not train for that clearly, because he was not able to handle it. It was just impressive that Gastelum was able to handle Heinisch the way that he did. However, what I would say that seemed a little alarming is that his striking seems to suffer. He seemed pretty slow, because if you know Gastelum, he's known for his hand speed, he's known for having that quick 1-2, he's known for having power in his hands, and he seemed like a completely different fighter in this fight. his wrestling seemed greatly improved, whereas his striking seemed to go down. It's almost as if he switched one for the other. Like he can't do them both. He needs to do one at a time. Either he has good wrestling or he has good striking. So his striking was just okay in this fight, and I wonder what was the cause of that, And I hope that that's just for this fight, and he is able in the future to mix in his wrestling with his striking, because his striking is really what set him apart from a lot of people. So good win for him. One of the most shocking fights on this card, Anthony Hernandez versus Rudolfo Vieira. Rudolfo Vieira gets submitted by Anthony Hernandez in the second round. My God, that man got tired. Rudolfo Vieira was dominating the fight. He was looking like, oh my God, this is going to be the end for Hernandez, because he had Hernandez mounted on the ground. This is Rudolfo's world. Hernandez in all the trouble. There's nothing he can do. And then, so much credit to Hernandez. He fought his way out of those bad positions and got back to his feet. And then it's almost as DC said, I can't recall if I've ever seen somebody gas so quickly and so bad. Like Vieira literally was like a concrete block in there afterwards. The man could not move. He could not raise his arms. He could not move to avoid strikes. He was just like a punching bag, a sturdy punching bag. But nevertheless, he was open to strikes, and Hernandez just went off. Hernandez was landing one power shot after the next. He was able to drop him, and the craziest part about all of this is he submitted Rudolfo Vieira. Rudolfo Vieira tapped, and this man in his interview talking about, he about to get his blue belt. Rudolfo Vieira is a ridiculous jiu-jitsu world champion, has several titles in gi and no gi competition, and this man gets submitted. That just goes to show MMA is its own sport. You have these people who have super high level accomplishments in all these other sports, but MMA is its own sport. An Olympic gold medal in wrestling does not translate to a UFC belt. Jiu-Jitsu world championships don't translate to UFC belts. Kickboxing world titles don't translate to UFC belts. Boxing world titles don't translate to UFC belts. You need to put in the work in MMA to get good at other aspects. That aspect that you came in with is always going to be a good asset and a powerful attribute for you. Sure, don't let it go, don't lose it, but you need to have other traits. And Rudolfo Vieira, he was just a strong jiu-jitsu guy, and when the jiu-jitsu wasn't fun anymore, he can handle it. Excellent win for Anthony Hernandez. Alright guys, that's it for this video. Thank you for tuning in. Remember to leave a like, remember to subscribe if you enjoy my content. Ring that notification bell so that you'll be notified anytime I post a video, and see y'all in the next one.